They told her to come on stage, not to shine but to entertain their boredom. Lily knew that. Everyone did. Laughter had already begun before she even took her first step. The school auditorium was packed, buzzing with whispers and smirks. Someone in the front row pointed at her shoes, worn thin at the edges. Another stifled a laugh at the violin in her hand, a patchwork of old wood and mismatched strings. She didn't belong here. That was the point. They called it a casting test for the school's spring play. But Lily knew what it really was. A joke. A girl from the trailer park, the daughter of a man who fixed broken things for a living. And yet here she stood, under the spotlight, gripping the instrument her father built from scratch. They wanted a show. She would give them something they would never forget. The silence wasn't kind. It sat on her chest like a stone. Lily took one more step toward the center of the stage. Her boots made no sound, but her heartbeat was deafening. Every breath she drew was shaky, every glance from the audience a needle. She could feel it, how their eyes weren't watching her, but watching what they expected her to become. Awkward, off-key, laughable. This wasn't the first time she'd felt invisible. But it was the first time they had actually noticed her, only to offer her up as the punchline. Weeks ago, she overheard them. The drama teacher chuckled. Why not let her try the violin part? Might be fun. The students laughed. Lily, seriously? No one else wants the solo. Might as well give it to the mechanic's daughter. Her face burned when she heard it. But she didn't say a word. She just went home and opened the case. The violin wasn't much. Her dad had pieced it together from discarded scraps. Maple warped by time, a neck salvaged from a pawn shop fire, strings collected one by one over 2 years. He wasn't a luthier. He was a fixer of furnaces and refrigerators. But he loved music. And when Lily told him she wanted to play, he didn't say, "We can't afford that." He said, "Give me time." So she waited. And one cold December night, he came home carrying something that looked like it belonged in a dream. Rough around the edges, but real. Lily never had formal lessons. Instead, she learned from watching videos on an old cracked tablet. She slowed down every tutorial, replayed every movement until her fingers remembered the shapes. Sometimes she played outside, under the tin awning, rain tapping rhythm on the roof. Sometimes she played so softly it sounded like whispering. But tonight they expected her to fall apart, and maybe she would. Her hands were sweating, her breath shallow. The spotlight made her skin burn. She saw the smirk on Rachel Morris's face, the lead in every school performance since freshman year. She saw the principal glancing at his watch. She looked down at her father's violin. The bow trembled between her fingers. And then she closed her eyes. She let go of everything. The laughter, the fear, the past. And she played. The first note didn't sound like much. It wasn't loud. It wasn't flashy, but it cut. It slipped through this chatter like a thread through cloth, pulling the room taut. Conversations trailed off mid-sentence. Rachel stopped chewing her gum. Even the stage crew in the wings froze. Then came the second note, lower, slower, aching with something that didn't have a name. Lily leaned into the sound like it could carry her away. Her fingers, once trembling, now moved like they belonged to someone else. Someone who'd done this 1,000 times. She played not with perfection, but with memory. Each note was a piece of something buried. The sound of her father humming while working under a broken sink. The creak of their trailer walls during midnight practice. The wind howling through tin when she couldn't sleep. The music was raw, unpolished, honest. It wasn't the kind of sound you'd expect from a school play. It wasn't rehearsed, it was lived. People sat forward, eyebrows drew together. No one laughed now. Even the principal, mid-text, looked up, his phone forgotten on his lap. In the back row, Clara Munro had risen halfway from her seat. She hadn't planned to stay long. just stopped by to support a colleague's niece. But the sound that emerged from that girl's makeshift violin had grabbed her by the spine. It reminded her of something she'd lost, something most musicians spend decades trying to recover: truth. On stage, Lily kept her eyes closed. The bow danced across the strings like it was chasing something holy. She didn't think about the crowd or what came next. She just kept going. The melody climbed now, urgent, trembling. It surged like a storm about to break. And just when it felt unbearable, she let it crash into a single, suspended note. And held it. The auditorium held its breath with her. Then silence. No rustling, no whisper. The kind of silence that follows something sacred. For a heartbeat, nothing moved. And then, a single clap, slow, unsure, real. Then another. Then a wave, a roar. And Lily, who expected nothing, stood in the center of it, stunned. Not by their applause, but by the sound of being seen. Lily barely noticed the applause. It felt distant, like waves crashing far from shore. She stood still, her bow hovering mid-air, breath shallow, limbs vibrating from the last note. She didn't dare look up. Not yet. Then she heard footsteps, heels clicking against the wooden floor, sharp, purposeful. A woman stepped out from the shadows near the aisle. Tall, composed, silver streak in her dark hair. She wore a long navy coat and a look that silenced even the teachers. Clara Monroe. Whispers rippled through the rows. Lily didn't know the name, but others did. "That's her," someone gasped. "Symphony director, Grammy winner, a legend." Clara walked straight to the edge of the stage. "Who taught you to play like that?" she asked. Her voice wasn't soft, but it wasn't harsh either. Just searching. Lily swallowed hard. "No one," she said quietly. "I learned on my own." Clara blinked. Once, twice, then nodded slowly. "I've heard thousands of students, hundreds of prodigies, but what you did just now—" She paused, as if choosing the right shape for something fragile. "Was honest." She turned to the principal. "This girl needs to be heard." Then to Lily again, "I'm on the board at Baldwin Conservatory. I can get you an audition, and I'll cover the cost." Lily's mouth opened, but no words came. Her father, standing at the edge of the wings, looked like he'd forgotten how to breathe. This couldn't be real, but Clara only smiled. "You don't have to say anything now," she said. "Just don't stop playing." Later that night, Lily sat alone with the violin in her lap, fingers still tingling. She hadn't planned to change anything. She only wanted to be heard. But somehow, one song had cracked something open, in them, in her. Her father joined her, still in his work boots. He didn't say much, just handed her a cup of tea and smiled. "You were never meant to fit their mold," he said. "You were meant to break it." Lily nodded, eyes glistening. She didn't know what tomorrow would bring. But for the first time, she wasn't afraid to find out.